Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. And if you're new here, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Yeah, 'cause tonight I'm going to be talking about cursed objects and haunted objects in horror novels. So stay tuned. Okay, first off, let's just talk about why I'm doing this particular video. I just think it's very interesting, this kind of trope of cursed or haunted items in horror novels. And it's just like taking something that's so mundane and ordinary, like a mirror, like a piece of jewelry, like a dead man's suit. Okay, giving away what one of the books is. But yeah, just something completely ordinary and having it cause so much damage in terms of the characters and their handling of it, and what happens to the people around it. And yeah, it's just really interesting as well, is to see maybe how it was cursed in the first place, you know, kind of any kind of magic put on the item, and if it's haunted, that's slightly different. They're haunted by a spirit, perhaps a vengeful spirit, and you know, we kind of get to learn about the cause of why that is. As I said, yeah, I think very interesting about how the characters and the story revolves around that particular object, and it can make for some excellent storytelling, as you'll see. Okay, the first one, I wanted to find something that's not spoken about very often when it comes to cursed objects. And I could have gone with the obvious, like The Monkey by Stephen King, but I know it was something similar, and this is a short story. People, I'm starting with some short stories, The Inkpot Monkey, and it's found in this excellent collection, Nocturns by John Connolly. And yeah, this is about this writer who's struggling. He's got writer's block and he doesn't know what to do, and he goes to an antique store and he buys this ink pot, and the ink pot's got this monkey attached. I think it's mummified or something. It's a while since I read the story, but yeah, he takes it home and it's just going to cure his writer's block. Perhaps it is, but there's going to be a cost involved. So yeah, it's just a fun story, and this was an excuse to show off this collection. People highly recommend this. There are a couple of other stories in here. I think my favourite is The Cancer Cowboy Rides, and the story I've just spoken about, The Inkpot Monkey. There's a clown one, some children wander by mistake. Very scary clown story, creepy clowns. But yeah, highly recommend this if you haven't given this author a go, and that is Nocturns. Okay, another excellent short story dealing with that trope is The Road Virus Heads North. Excellent short story by Stephen King, taken from Everything's Eventual. Oh, this is an awesome collection, people. Got lots of great stories. And this is about a writer. Once again, famous writer. And once again, it's at an antique store. He's on the drive, so it's an outdoor store. And he spots this painting. And he decides to pick it up. And now this painting, I'm actually going to read this because I can't remember what it's about. He purchases a painting of a man in a black Grand Am muscle car with a T-top. So yeah, it's a normal picture at first, but then the further north he drives, this picture starts to transform, and it becomes more menacing. And as he's driving, as he's stopping and meeting people, things happen along the way, bad things. Yeah, so it's an excellent story. And yeah, so those are only two short stories I'm going to mention, but there are loads and loads. And Stephen King himself has written loads of stories dealing with cursed objects and that kind of thing. So yeah. Okay, now to the novels. And first off, we've got The Amulet by Michael McDall. Now I own the book, but I can't find it, so I'm just going to put it up there. And what I've decided to do with each of these authors, before I talk about the book and the cursed object, I'm going to talk just an interesting fact or two about the particular author. Michael McDall sadly passed away from AIDS-related illness, and he had a macabre collection of all sorts of strange things, including spirit photographs of dead children, I think it was, and then also pieces of jewelry woven from the hair of the deceased. And it makes sense to go from there straight to the book, The Amulet, because The Amulet is basically about the small town, and it's about this young woman who's kind of the heroine, protagonist, and she's chasing around desperately trying to find this amulet that is being passed from person to person in the town, and wherever it goes it causes violent death and destruction. And believe me, the kills in this novel are brutal, people. They're gory. He really goes there. And be warned, they're very graphic, yeah. And no one is safe, men, women and children. But it's an excellent novel. And it's Southern Gothic, incredible atmosphere, superb build-up of characters, very, very flawed, messed up characters, most of them. And it's sort of incredibly entertaining watching them die. I hate saying it, but it is. It's such an entertaining novel. And I think it's his first novel. And yeah, it's brilliant. It doesn't really show. And in addition to that, just the setting. In the small town, this kind of Gothic setting, Southern Gothic setting. He's just brilliant. You need to look him up. And that's Michael McDall, The Amulet. Okay, next up we got The Heirloom by Graeme Martin. Now, this is one of his first novels, and it's very, very good, but I don't enjoy it as much as many of his later novels. The ending kind of was left a bit to be desired, but still, it's a brilliant novel. But let me tell you about Graeme Martin. He didn't just write horror, he wrote in a lot of different genres. He even wrote children's literature, believe it or not, and he wrote, what was it here? Sex guides. He wrote sex advice books, including a title, How to Drive Your Woman Wild in Bed. Yeah, and after reading this book and some of his other books, you might question that. He's a man of many talents. Yeah, his horror is hectic. He gets very graphic, very nasty, very quickly. So what is this book about? Okay, well, this book is about not so much a haunted chair as more as a possessed chair, perhaps, or just a devil chair. It's like a portal into a hellish realm, and there's a creature. And yeah, this chair is kind of beautifully designed, very heavy. I think it's mahogany, and it's got all these interesting designs that depict, naked bodies swirling into each other. And yeah, it's picked up once again by, actually no, I don't think it's an antique dealer. Is it an antique dealer? Yeah, it's an antique dealer. And he doesn't pick this chair up, it's actually dropped off to him. And it causes his family and himself all sorts of trouble and pain and suffering. And so yeah, it just gets from bad to worse. The horror is ramped up towards the middle and the end. But like I say, the end doesn't really stick it for me in this particular book. Although there's a lot of Graeme Martin, I'm going to go there, the next book, that I really, really enjoyed. So yeah, that's The Heirloom. Okay, next is my favourite Graeme Martin book, Mirror. On the Other Side of the Mirror Lies a Nightmare. And yeah, this is fantastic. It's a struggling screenplay writer, and he's obsessed with this young movie star from the 1930s, a child star, who was brutally murdered and dismembered by his grandmother. And while this was happening, in the same room, there was this mirror that witnessed the whole thing. And this is not really a spoiler, this is set right at the beginning, and I think it's also in the back. And yeah, the screenwriter gets hold of this mirror because he collects everything from this young child star, whose name is, I think it's Ruffles. Strange name, but yeah, looks a bit like Damien from Damien Omen. of nostalgic thing there, references. But anyway, yeah, and it's a nightmare. This mirror is like well, it says over here, on the other side of the mirror, it's another portal object, and yeah, it leads to a portal to like kind of another dimension, a hellish dimension. And there's a lot of scares in this book, people. It's a lot of fun. As I say, there's a lot of nods to nostalgia. It's just very well written, and I wasn't bored at all the whole way through. So I highly recommend Mirror. Yeah. Next up, perhaps one of the more well-known ones, The Hellbound Heart by Clyde Barker. Well, yeah, this was made into Hellraiser, which is a lot more popular probably than the book, but this is a great short read. And yeah, but this actual object that we're talking about here is a puzzle box, a beautifully intricate design puzzle box, and I don't have to read it. It's called the Le Marchand's box. Okay, and so basically it's a very difficult puzzle box. So when you open it, it's basically your heart. It's a hedonist that opens this box and believes that he's going to open up a world of absolute pleasure, because he's explored everything the world has to offer in terms of pleasure, sins of the flesh. And he opens up a portal to another realm, otherworldly realm, and he expects to find lots of naked women, expects to have lots of sex, but this isn't the case. Instead, when the box opens up, this bell rings. It's almost like this doom bell rings. And yeah, he's in this other realm. What he gets is Cenobites, and he gets chains, and he gets lots and lots and lots of pain. Yeah, not what he expected at all. Now, it's an excellent book. Really, 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 absolutely prime Clyde Barker, vintage Clyde Barker. There's no fantasy in here. This is, if you like books like the Books of Blood, then you're going to love this. It's a lot of excellent body horror. And yeah, just a fantastic story. Well worth your time. And that is The Hellbound Heart. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention something interesting about Clyde Barker that I had to really look up. Is that he nearly died from toxic shock after a routine visit to the dentist. His body reacted to something, and he ended up in a coma for 3 weeks. Yeah, he nearly lost his life. And he admitted in an interview that he still felt it a long way afterwards. I think it affected him for life. Just from going to the dentist. That's something to think about. Okay, and the last book I'm going to show you, and there are more people, but I decided to do a handful tonight. This is Heartshaped box by Joe Hill. As I mentioned earlier, Dead Man's Suit. But basically, before I talk about that, Joe Hill, this little kid here, Creepshow. Joe Hill, Stephen King's daddy, acted in a movie. Stephen King was also in the movie, and a very important part of the movie, Creepshow. Absolutely hysterical, fantastic, brilliant. See it if you get a chance. And right at the beginning of the movie, there's a scene with this little boy, and the dad's been shouting at the boy. And the boy goes upstairs, and he's got a voodoo doll, and starts putting things into the voodoo doll, like to punish his dad. Yeah, it's pretty dark. But anyway, let's get back to this heart-shaped box, and it's about an aging metal kind of rock star. And yeah, he's a lonely man. He's gone through women. He's sort of disowned his bandmates. He's not a nice guy really at all. But what he does do, he likes to collect things that are macabre. Once again, we're going full circle here. He collects things such as he's got a hangman's noose. He's got a snuff film, which is not very nice. He's also got, what did I write here, a cookbook for cannibals. And then one day he finds on the internet, that's for sale, a dead man's suit. And he purchases the suit, and it's delivered to him in a heart-shaped box, a black heart-shaped box. And it turns out that the suit, that there's a vengeful spirit out to get him, that wants to hurt him, and ends up everywhere and and takes over his life. And it's like I said in another video, it's like riding on a highway to hell. It's terrifying, and it really builds up pace as you go, and it's definitely one of Joe Hill's best books. After Nosferatu, in my opinion, Nosferatu is better, but still a great read. So yeah, highly recommend Heartshaped box. Okay everyone, so that's my video for tonight. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the spaces below what you thought of those choices. Do you know any good books that deal with cursed or haunted objects or items? Let me know in the spaces below. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe for further content. But yeah, until next time everyone, take care of yourselves, keep those pages turning, and cheers.